And both sides always had respect for the opposition's flag. That's why it was often a target. But so again, from the farming, people don't realise, and again, there's so many people that will think go back to the evidence, and the evidence is you must do your own research. Don't be listening to the British mainstream media, and I'm explicitly saying it is all part of this system. Ofcom, for anyone who wants to go and look this up, is the exact replica of the Soviet Union's Glavlit, right? And Glavlit controlled all communications in the Soviet Union. Ofcom is the same thing. Our group demonstrated outside the Ofcom buildings in London, right? Police couldn't believe it, right? And we had a load of English flags out there, and we said we are demonstrating against Ofcom and GB News, because GB News has been created by these same people. It is a big con, the whole thing. People are being conned. So people need to understand it is England under attack, and there are other people now starting to see it. If you want to go and watch a video with Trump talking at the G7, which has been on my YouTube, or not YouTube, Rumble channel, and I show him talking, and he's asked a question, right, by the BBC, right? This is the G7 summit, and they asked Trump a question. They said, who's your most important strategic partner? Is it the British or is it the European Union? And Trump said, let's talk about England. Why does no one talk about England anymore? Why does no one talk about the English anymore? We've always been a part of England, right? So again, triggered. You heard all the cameras going off. They hated him because he said the word England. Right? So remember, again, Churchill wasn't the nicest person in the world. I don't disagree with that. But one of the things he said is there is one word that's more important to me than any other, and that word is England. Right? And we've got to take our culture back, our communities back, our farms back, our resilience back, and we've got to take back our children from the state.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think what I've noticed, now funnily enough, I called to see a friend the other day, and he's got a son of 31, same age as my son, right? And they're very much, like all kids, they all dress the same, sound the same, you know, they've all come out the same tick box. And I said to him, he said, I watched your latest video. I said, oh yeah, what did you think? He said, I think you were losing the plot. I said, all right, based on what? He said, you were talking about stakeholder capitalism. I said, all right. He said, sooner we get socialism completely into place, the better. I said, what do you base that on? He said, well, capitalism in any shape or form doesn't work. I said, can I ask a question? I said, where do you live? He said, with mum and dad, in a house they built in the garden for me. All right. And have you got a car? Well, no, I don't need it because Dad's got a van and I'll use that when I need it. So you're happy that capitalism has bought for you somewhere to live, something to drive, the money what goes in your pocket.
You're using someone else's resources all the way through your life.
But there you want to talk about socialism. The two don't stack up. Unfortunately, for anyone who wants to be socialist, no, knock yourself out, go and get on with somewhere else. But the problem is that we are a capitalist society. Whether we like it or not, that is what we are. You know, it's the same as people saying, oh, all these Muslims coming over. I don't care. I've got a bloody black Nigerian girlfriend. From my side, I don't care about creed or colour. What I do care about is our values as British, English, whatever you want to class us as, right? Those values, those Christian values, what we were brought up with, whether you are a practising Christian or not, and I had this conversation last night in a video I made, I do not class myself as a practising Christian, right? Do I class myself as a Christian? I must be by default. I went to a Christian school, I was christened, I was married in a Christian church, everything I lived my life by Christian values. And that to me is where we have...
And the target of the communists is the Christian nation. They killed more Christians in the Soviet Union than any other group of people. Literally 60 million Orthodox Christians. And when people understand why they did that, Orthodox Christians and Islam do not allow usury. that is interest.
Yep.
Right? So when people understand what the real is, I've always said to people, what you're actually seeing is a clash between the banking systems. One system wants to make you a debt slave with usury and interest, and the other system says no.
Yep.
We believe in your capitalist system, we will invest in your house, and we will take a profit off your community when you sell it. Right? That is a different setup to what we've got now. And if you go back 40, 50 years ago, as a normal everyday working man, you could go and buy a 3 Belgian mouse, detached, have a job, holiday a year. Your wife didn't go to work, she looked after the kids, because that's their job, that's their role, right? They are the nurturing one in the family, and the dad goes out and earns a living, right? And again, the whole of that has been destroyed by the communist system. Yeah,
and that's what I've seen. You know, for me, I was always whilst mum worked around the school times. So when we went to school, mum might go apple picking, let's say. You know, might have a cleaning job, whatever it needs to be, just to get a few pennies on the table, right? And that changed as we got older. She got a proper job, and you know, but that doesn't happen now. I see my daughters; they all have to work. You know, they've all got partners.
It should never have been like it was never designed.
It was never designed to be like that. But they again.
But that's the communist system.
We've seen it broken down and broken away, and you know, whilst you know. As I say on my channel, I only talk about food and farming. I think you have to understand the bigger picture, because this isn't about just taking away the food here. This is about taking away people's rights. You know, we talk about cash. We know they're going to change over to a digital currency. They've got to take control of us. They've got to take
central bank digital currency
is coming.
And digital identity. I was speaking earlier to Andrew, and I said to him, on our website, we've got something basically called a digital bill of rights. Right?